Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by co-host Jeff.
Hey there, on time as always.
That's false.
No, our podcast releases on time as always.
That's true. We've never missed a Thursday.
Yep. It's almost
Anyways.
like, despite being a little bit late, we still always find a way.
Music this week is brought to you by the Indianapolis, Indiana indie pop rock band, The Wildlife.
A lot of indie in there.
What's not in there are vowels.
That's
the
right. Except for
WLDLF. Oh, there is an E. Damn it.
Yep.
All right. Anyways, the song's
Once
All
again,
My Friends.
Jeff's right.
The song is All My Friends, which Jeff is increasingly becoming not one of.
I don't get it. Like, I'm feeling like this is real. Are you upset with me?
All right, let's have some therapy for a minute. All right,
Let's do it. Let's
All right.
get this out in the open.
Let's
Share
go.
your feelings.
Yeah, it's 2024, and let's normalize telling people how you feel when you feel it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yes. Okay.
So you told me,
Yes.
hey, we had decided we were going to record 3:00, and you're like, cool, that's fine. A little bit later, you're like, hey, it'll be close about 3:15. I was like, cool.
That's not how it went, but okay.
Oh, okay. Let's read.
You said 3.
Let's
and
read
I
the
said
transcripts.
3:15.
Let's
Not
read the
a
transcripts.
little bit later.
All right.
No, you're right.
Transcripts.
You're right. That's how it went. My apologies.
Okay.
The proof is right there in front of me.
That's correct. So I sit down here in the studio, and I
That's
get on
within your house.
I get on the computer, and I message you, and I go, "Are you good to go?" And you said, "Give me 10 minutes, please."
Remember, the please is there, right? Polite,
Right.
courteous.
Right. And so approximately 12 minutes later.
11.
Okay. 11 minutes later.
Yep.
You decide it's time.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to record.
It is time to record.
So, and then I was like, giving you a little
Give
tough,
me a little business.
tough love. When
tough love.
When you jumped on, and then you tell me it's not my job.
I don't get paid to do this.
You don't get paid to do this. Correct.
This is a hobby.
This is correct. It's also correct. But neither do I.
That's true.
And so
if you were late, I would understand.
well, I would hope I would communicate to you and be like, hey, let's buffer it up, and hey, maybe I don't need 45 minutes, but let's go for 3:45. That way, it's not me sitting at this computer going, oh, is he ready? Is he ready now? Is it going on? Is it going to happen? But you're lucky I had stuff to do, and I wasn't doing that.
I need, next time I see your wife, I'm going to just shake her hand and say, I don't know how you do it.
Good. She'd give you a high five.
Yeah, I don't know how she does it.
Right.
Anyway,
you wouldn't be doing anything like out of the norm. Like
everyone comes over and high fives her and says,
yes,
thanks for everything.
I'm just saying, my time is valuable as well as yours.
Your time is valuable. I never meant to say it wasn't.
Okay. You feel better?
I never felt bad.
Right. That's the point. That's the point.
Why would I feel bad?
I
apologized right off rip.
One, we're recording on a holiday.
Okay.
Right.
You could have said no. I always respect your time. I was 10 minutes late. And I told you I'm going to be 10 more minutes. You could have taken a shit in that time.
I didn't, but I could have.
So what we watched this week.
Yes.
Because this month.
This is the month.
Movies directed and starring the same person. See, now I don't feel good. But not because of remorse. But because of the emotional abuse I'm getting.
The emotional abuse.
Yeah.
What about the time abuse? What about the abuse of time?
Your 10 minutes?
Yeah, they'll never get back. I was spent waiting.
Oh, waiting. Oh, my gosh. 10 minutes. Let's just not review the movie. Let's just dig down deep into this. What's really going on?
Nothing.
Who wasted your time as a young child?
You know,
That it wounded you so deeply that this has become a
it
big issue?
might just be expectations.
Yeah, but who broke your expectations?
I mean,
Were there broken promises?
there could have been.
Yeah.
There could have been, and that causes me anxiety when someone gives me tells me that they're going to do something, and then they push it back, or they don't do it.
They do it.
Or they show
come
up late.
10 minutes. They say, "Hey, I'm going to be 10 more minutes."
Right. Maybe it's triggering.
You ever woken up late for work? Hey, boss, I apologize. I'm going to be 10 more minutes.
I mean,
I have.
yes,
Okay.
but it's not often.
No, it's not that often for me. How often do I leave you hanging?
I don't know. Let's go back.
In the
Let's go back
200 or whatever episodes we're approaching.
Look at the transcripts.
There's probably, I'm not scrolling through all of this, but there's probably a time where you go, hey, it's actually going to, matter of fact, I know there's a time when you said 9 o'clock and then we're getting closer and say, actually, it's going to be closer to 9:30. And I go, okay. And then I don't bust your balls about it when we get on the call.
That's because you're notoriously late, so you can't.
I'm notoriously late. Okay.
Anyway, what do we watch this week?
Tropic Thunder. Directed and starring Ben Stiller, also starring Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr. This got a lot of people in it. Baruchel.
Baruchel?
Thank you. Brandon T. Jackson, Steve Coogan, Danny McBride, Bill Hader, Nick Nolte, and of course, Tom Cruise in one of his most epic roles to date.
How come Tom
It
Cruise
runs
hasn't?
for an hour 47.
How come Tom Cruise hasn't done more comedies?
I don't know that he's that funny. Like,
He's
obviously,
pretty-
this is the exception, right?
He's pretty funny in this.
But he's just going for it, which I appreciate. You know, but I don't know how much comedy he does. You know, like, obviously, if you need someone to yell and scream, you contact him. But
And he's almost unrecognizable here too, right? He's got a lot
To a
of
degree.
prosthetic makeup on.
His hand prosthetics are my favorite, though.
Yeah.
The thick fingers and the hair on his
Gigantic.
arms.
The,
Really good.
You know, he's balding. He's got the nose, I think, is larger. I was watching it with my daughter, and she didn't even recognize him. And I think really the only Tom Cruise films she's seen are the Mission Impossible and Top Gun Maverick. And
Good choices.
and I told her, I was like, hey, you know who that is, right? Because it was the end of the movie, and he's dancing, and she's like, no, and I was like, that's Tom Cruise. She's like, no way. I was like, yeah, it's Tom Cruise.
Now you waited for the credits, and then it shows it
Yeah, and then right.
because she didn't believe you.
She didn't, but then she's like, oh, maybe, yeah. Now that you say that, I can kind of see his face, even though he's got one of the most recognizable faces in cinema. He's done some other comedy type movies, but nothing like this.
I think of the Austin Powers cameo.
Was he in Austin
Where he,
Powers?
yeah, he plays Austin Powers in Austin Powers 3, where they're doing the movie for Austin Powers, and they've recasted. They've got the sex offender Kevin Spacey playing Dr. Evil. Danny DeVito is Mini-Me.
Why did you feel the need to throw sex offender in front of Kevin Spacey?
He is a sex offender. And then Tom Cruise plays your boy Austin Powers.
I haven't seen that movie in ages.
Yeah, it's right at the beginning though, so you don't even have to watch the whole thing. It's really good. That's like my least favorite Austin Powers film, but the opening is pretty epic.
Is that the one with Fat Bastard?
Fat Bastard's in both of 2 and 3.
2 and 3, okay. I'm just trying to remember the plot of 3.
This is the one with Beyonce as Foxy Cleopatra.
Oh, okay.
And Gold Member.
So this is directed by Ben Stiller. I'm pretty sure this was his first film, his directorial debut.
I can find out. I don't know. He's got 23 directorial credits.
Oh, a lot of them.
Some of that may be TV. TV.
Wait
short.
a minute. He directed The Cable Guy?
Yep, that's what it says. Reality Bites. He directed that.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Zoolander? Okay, so this wasn't his first movie. And this was written by 3 people. Ethan Coen, one of the Coen brothers, co-wrote this. And Justin...
That seems weird.
Right.
Justin Coen writing this just doesn't make sense, but okay.
Justin Theroux, who is probably most famously known for being married to Jennifer Aniston.
Great job, Justin.
I mean, right.
Well done, sir.
I wish, if I was married to a mega superstar like, what's her face? I'd want people to remember me as such.
The mega superstar whose name eludes you at this point.
I just said it, and now I don't remember it.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
The mega superstar.
Right.
It happens to me, you know.
It's probably just getting
I forgive
old.
you. Isn't that great? Forgiveness?
Forgiveness is great. I've already forgiven you.
Oh, good.
I've not forgotten you, though.
See. All right. So you picked this. Both of us have obviously seen this before, but is there a reason you chose it for the pod?
I hadn't seen it in a while, and I actually didn't realize when we had picked this theme that Ben Stiller. I knew he had directed some other films that he had also starred in, and when I went to go look at his filmography, because I was thinking of doing the famous Walter Smith or Smitty something.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, no, I've never seen the film, but I've heard it was okay. Anyways, and so I started looking at his filmography, and I saw that he directed Tropic Thunder. Now, I didn't obviously scour it because I didn't realize he directed Cable Guy either. Probably should have. Oh, he didn't star in that one.
No, or at least he didn't have a major role.
And I just remember, I remember Robert Downey Jr. was nominated for an Oscar for this movie, for portraying a black man, and
no. So this is where let's get into that, because that's not what he does.
He's a white man, method acting a black man,
right? And that's and so on occasion on Twitter or various social medias, you will see someone post a picture of him playing this character and saying everyone just ignores the fact that Robert Downey Jr. did blackface. And on a technical level, yeah, I guess he kind of did. But the difference is he's not taking a role away from another black actor. The character is, but he's not. And the character is a white guy playing a black guy, so it has to be a white actor then portraying a black guy. That's the point. And I have never, and I repeat, never met a person of color who was offended by this. Now, as a white guy, I get it. I probably should just hold my tongue. But it is one of those things where I'm like, if you're pointing at this as being an instance of blackface, I think you're missing the point, because the movie itself calls out the character for doing this. Al Pacino, played by Brandon T. Jackson, plays the catalyst to that, plays the guy who's calling him out for doing all the, stereotypes and stuff like that, and you took a role away from a black man, and that's what is happening. So that would be my reasoning as a straight white male, why I think that this instance is acceptable and done as a piece of commentary as well as for laughs.
Why did you throw in that you're straight?
Just in case. You ever watch the movie Never Stop Stopping or Don't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With,
where
what's his face?
Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gay. I'm straight. That whole sequence, that song. That's why. Because I'm insecure and I need to make sure everyone knows it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's, and the movie even goes as far to tell you and show you that the Kirk Lazarus, that's Robert Downey Jr.'s character's name, has been nominated 5 times or won Oscars for 5 roles, and he undergoes skin pigmentation for this role, and it's, I mean, there's a lot of commentary, social commentary here, which is surprising for a very heavy comedy like this is, but it's also pretty well done, and Robert Downey Jr.'s, I mean, he really acts his ass off playing this character, which is crazy. It's just, and I really enjoyed the trailer at the beginning. They showed trailers for the different characters.
This movie may have the greatest opening ever.
Yeah.
Because one thing you notice, like, those fake trailers come before the logo for the studio. They come before everything.
Right.
And so if you're watching and you go into the theater blind and you're watching trailer after trailer, and then this commercial for Booty Sweat comes up, and then you get 2 more trailers, or 3 even, because you get the Fatties, which is the movie's
the Clump
series that Jack Black is in, which is basically the Clumps.
Yeah, right.
But even really, really dumb. Like the Clumps actually is good. This is just played for laughs. Robert Downey Jr. playing a gay man in like
he's a priest, isn't he? He's
a priest, or he's in
a monk.
Some sort of religious place where it's not okay to be gay, and he's opposite Tobey Maguire, which one of the best moments in the film is like, so many time Emmy or Oscar winner Kurt Lazarus, TV Teen Choice Award Tobey Maguire,
best kiss is what it was.
Yeah, best kiss. Yeah, and it's so good. So you get those trailers, and it definitely kind of sets the tone. So this is my 3rd time, I think, sitting through the movie, and I think that the first time I saw it, I thought it was okay with some really great ideas. The second time I saw it, I think I was kind of lukewarm on it. And this time, I think I'm kind of lukewarm still. I think that, again, there are some really great ideas. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr.'s character is sort of the standout in the movie. And then, of course, those trailers and some of the early stuff in the jungle with the director getting blown up. I really like, but there are long stretches of the movie where I just kind of get bored. Where the opening of the movie is so rapid fire with, story and puns and laughs. Like, you get the introduction of all of these characters, and it's also like a feast of, shoot, Matthew McConaughey's in this. Like, we list all those people. There's people I forgot. Matthew McConaughey, and then you see the iconic, Tom Cruise role, and you're just like, look at all these characters, and it's like flashing lights, and it's really entertaining and great. And then when they get to the jungle, it really starts to slow down a lot. And you'll get great moments where you cut back to Tom Cruise and Matthew McConaughey, and that stuff always works. Like, the famous moment with the call to the drug dealers is like, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face. I mean, all of that's good. But I feel like a lot of time is kind of lost and wasted in the woods, to me, where I'm like, okay, it just kind of slows down a little too much from the pace it started with.
Yeah. There is. I there's not a lot of good chemistry between the group and the jungle, right? Like Jack Black is just kind of playing a 2000s Jack Black character, and he's having withdrawals from is it heroin? No, it's not heroin.
So I mean, there's heroin in the woods is what she's trying to get, but the drugs he does seems like an upper.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine it's like cocaine or Molly or something, which I'm not a specialist in drugs. And was it you and I, we were watching a movie? No, I think it was someone else. I'm like, Molly, is that something that gets you excited? And then they took it and they were like hyper. I'm like, oh, okay. So my point of reference for drugs is all movies related. So I just don't know. You know, I was never big into recreational drug use.
Well, I mean, it's fine. No, I just like Jack Black's character. He's just kind of just there and goofy, right? And
yeah, and it's one I could have done without. Like he doesn't add a ton to the group dynamic. I think Al Pacino is really important to the group dynamic. I think Jay Baruchel's character is important because he tends to be the grounding agent. Like everyone else is kind of this heightened character, and he is the one who's actually more down to earth. Yeah. And of course, Ben Stiller does have a lot of interaction with Robert Downey Jr., but I do think Jack Black is definitely kind of the odd one out. Like it feels like maybe we could have done without that, but yeah, and that's saying something because I love Jack Black.
And you're right, and it feels like a lot of this because this came out in 2008. A lot of this was capitalizing on some like Jay Baruchel. I think
he rolls with Seth Rogen in them, right? Like,
yeah,
he was in This Is the End, and
yeah. But I think there was a movie, and I don't know if it was the animated dragon movie where he voices the main character. That came out before this. But anyway, I feel like maybe Ben Stiller was kind of trying to capitalize on a lot of people's popularity at the time. Matthew McConaughey is uber popular actor in 2008, right? I mean, he still is, but 2008, man.
We love Matthew McConaughey here.
We
Check out
do.
Matthew McConaughey month.
Hit the 2023 back catalog. But it just seems like maybe he's just throwing actors in to play characters. And really, like you said, Al Pacino, Brandon Jackson's character is one of the most important characters just simply because of his dynamic with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, you need him there to kind of call out how shitty it is that there's this guy doing blackface. Yeah. He has one of the funnier arcs, which I don't know how this maybe has aged, but the whole Lance thing, because like their response to it could be a little like it's played for laughs that he's gay.
Yeah.
And not really taken seriously. You know what I mean? Like it's very much just a laugh. Like, so I kind of wonder how that's aged. Again, that's one of the reasons I said straight, because I don't know. I can't say whether it's really offensive or not to that community. But also the severe use of the R word in this movie. Again, I feel like it's done in a way that's meant to be offensive, but it's still offensive. It's just the constant barrage.
The context is that Ben Stiller's character, the actor, played it's a Forrest Gump type character, but like to the extreme, and just very stereotypical of a person with mental disability. And like the movie, the actual movie we watched tells us that that movie inside the movie where Ben Stiller plays his character bombed, and it was terrible. And then there's a lot of commentary in the jungle between Robert Downey Jr. and the group about there's it's an iconic line now, but you never go full R word, and it just, I feel like a lot of it's done, and maybe it was written this way. I feel like Ben Stiller and his group, and I should correct myself. The writer, the Coen writer, is Ethan Coen, not Ethan Coen. He has no relation to the Coen brothers.
I would have never caught that.
It is Etan, Etan, Coen, not Ethan. Anyways, but I think I assume that there is some commentary that Ben Stiller and his group were trying to just use these themes in Hollywood. Like, this movie talks a lot about problems in Hollywood. The movie inside of a movie, the four other movies inside of a movie. The casting choices that are made, and actors' method acting, and roles, and so the movie has a lot of things to say about the state of Hollywood in the 2000s. This was acceptable. The use of the R word, the portrayal of somebody with mental disability, the exaggerated portrayal of someone with mental disability, it was all accepted in the 90s and 2000s, which is why this movie probably couldn't be made today. Maybe it could, but not in the way that it was made. I don't think you could do that, all the things that they did in this movie today. But in the movie, and the character that Ben Stiller is bombed with the movie's called Simple Jack, and his character stutters and does have mental disability, and he gets kidnapped by the jungle guys in Vietnam. No, they're not in Vietnam.
They are. They start in Vietnam.
Well, at some point they transition from Vietnam to Laos or somewhere. But Ben Stiller gets kidnapped or held for ransom by this jungle group, and Simple Jack is apparently the only movie they've ever seen. And they realize that Ben Stiller is the actor from Simple Jack, and so they make him redo the movie, but as like a stage performance. And then there's commentary from Robert Downey Jr. watching this stage performance by Ben Stiller, and he's like, "Oh, now he transcends acting and this and that." And I enjoyed that dialogue. Robert Downey Jr. is he really is what holds the movie together. I think for me,
I think without him, this is.
I think it's pretty terrible.
Wholly forgettable.
Yeah. But without Robert Downey Jr. providing this dialogue, watching Ben Stiller do his Simple Jack performance on a stage in this compound, it's just like, okay, what are we doing? And then it's a running gag, is because Ben Stiller's trying to his character's trying to get more serious roles. He has aspirations of winning awards, and in the beginning of the movie, him and Robert Downey Jr. have a scene where I guess Ben Stiller's supposed to cry, and Robert Downey Jr.'s crying, but very exaggerated, and Ben Stiller's just like, I can't do it, I can't cry. Why is he doing that?
Drooling and spitting.
Right. And so it's just, the movie it like pulls your brain in different directions when you watch it with like a critical lens. Is because like I laughed out loud at several points in this movie because of the comedy. Like when the director gets blown up and Ben Stiller holds up his head, he thinks it's a prop head, and he like eats
flavored corn syrup.
Like, I mean, it's like, oh my God, why? And then, when Jack Black, he's trying to get the drugs and he gets captured. Or no, he doesn't get captured. They tie him up because he's acting crazy.
Yeah, he tells them to. He's like, I'm going through withdrawal. Tie me up.
And then he's like, wait a minute. No, give me the drugs and I'll suck your dicks. And just go
balls.
Right, and to the shaft and it was very descriptive and it was hilarious. And I'm watching it with my teenage daughter, right? And so
which isn't it awkward at all?
Nah, it's fine.
How is it as a parent? Well, is it maybe for you? It's fine. But have you ever had? So I've only ever been on the side of it where I'm watching a movie with mom or dad, and a sex scene happens, and it's very awkward. For me at least. Is it awkward for dad?
Yeah. So
has that happened?
It has. It like I kind of like avoid eye contact with my kid.
Okay, that's what I mean. So yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it is awkward in that sense. I mean, but she knows what sex is. She knows,
Well, yeah, but that doesn't. I'm
it doesn't make it
grown-ass
less
man,
awkward.
And if I'm
right?
watching a movie, I'm in my 40s, and if I watch a movie with my mom to this day, and the sex scene starts, I'm like, well, this is awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, also, it's kind of awkward with anyone, though.
It is
to me. Like if I was at your place, and it's like the closest we got was disclosure, and like a sex scene goes down. I'm like, well, this is where we are, Mark.
Next time we just lock eyes.
I agree. Let's just do it. Own the awkwardness. But then again, we won't be watching the scene play out. So maybe, I don't know. We'll have to think about it. Maybe get a mirror. So one eye.
Can we put it on the ceiling?
No. I've seen too many horror movies where that ends badly.
Anyways, this movie pulled me in a lot of directions because I've never watched it with this critical lens. I've only ever seen it just for pure entertainment purposes. And so like I found myself being pulled towards the gravitational sphere of Robert Downey Jr. and then Ben Stiller's very it's almost bad acting.
Yeah, I agree. Like he never really. I mean, how many Ben Stiller movies have you seen where he's like a dramatic actor? Because this actually might be kind of like true to life, like he's. I mean, I've seen a lot of Ben Stiller movies, but they're all pretty much always comedies. I can't think of any that aren't comedies off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure there's some, but I don't know of any iconic dramatic roles he's done.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. I don't know. I mean, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is the movie that I think that's probably his most recent.
And no one talks about it.
No one talks about it, right?
Right. So it's not like, Jim Carrey. People can at least point to Eternal Sunshine or The Number 13. Like he's got those roles out there that people are familiar with, but just hasn't happened for Ben Stiller. So it kind of makes me wonder if that's intentional for this main character to kind of have that commentary that maybe Ben Stiller's relating to.
That's an interesting point because I wonder if he wrote the character as like a kind of a version of himself in Hollywood. I don't know. It's because in 2008 this came out, and prior to that he didn't have anything that I'm just looking at from his IMDb filmography that was anything near like dramatic. So I wonder if that is some commentary on his own career.
Let's just talk out our ass and say it is.
Okay, that's fine. I do it all the time. But I do think that the film, I enjoyed Danny McBride's character.
Who always plays Danny McBride. And
yes.
It's basically, have you seen the movie Hot Rod?
Yeah.
He's basically that same character.
Right.
He's the explosive expert.
Yeah, no, and actually I wish, and this has something to do with Danny McBride not being as popular as he is now. But if he had the Jack Black role, right? I just feel like he's probably a better choice for that type of role.
It would be a very different character, though, because Danny McBride plays unlikable. And Jack Black tends to be pretty likable, even when, he's trying not to be. There's just something human about him, to me at least.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many Jack Black movies where I'm like, oh, he's just very charismatic, playing the goofball. Danny McBride does have that asshole ability.
That's all he plays. He's always the asshole, and he's great at it.
Yeah, I thinking about his roles. Yeah,
the only one I think of that I haven't really seen is the Alien movie he's in.
Oh, Prometheus?
No, the one after that. No, I don't know which. The most Covenant, I think, is the most recent one.
Yeah, he dies early on in that movie, though.
Okay.
I remember he plays the pilot.
Spoilers for a movie that we are not watching.
Anyway, so I'm trying to think of what else to say about this film that I don't think this film got any bad publicity. I don't, at least not that I remember.
No, I don't remember it getting any. I think that. Yeah, I agree. I don't remember it getting any bad publicity. And now I only see, and I almost wonder if they're like trolls doing it just to get attention when people call out the movie. But
well, I mean, I could see where like the community with mental disability would have maybe something to say about the portrayal of that individual in this film, but like I don't know. I mean, it's not anything that's so popular that it's causing me to go, oh, let me go look that up. Anyways, what else?
I got nothing to add.
Okay, good.
I honestly, every time I watch this movie, I think I like it a little bit less. There are things to like that are really great, but they're a little sparse for me when it comes to comedy. There are a lot of stretches that fail to be funny. So it's not something I recommend, but there are like little pieces and highlights. You could probably find a 10-minute YouTube video, get what you need, and then move on.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't like Matthew McConaughey is a throwaway character here, but anyway, even though he's
still Matthew McConaughey, like he's still insanely likable.
Sure.
And he might be the only good person in the movie. Like, I don't know. Because most of the people in this movie, except for maybe
Jay Baruchel.
Right. Yeah, I guess he would qualify. But all of them are kind of shitty, which is why I think them being shitty makes it okay. Them using the R word so profusely is because they're shitty people, right?
Well, and Robert Downey Jr.'s character... no, I'm sorry. Brandon Jackson's character uses the N-word.
Well, he's black, though.
Right.
He's allowed to.
But Robert Downey Jr. slaps him in the face when he uses it. He says something to the effect of,
that word has kept our people down.
Right.
Yeah. And right. And it's obviously not that character's place to do that. There's so many things that are wrong with that. But that's the commentary and the sort of turn of judgment, I don't know.
I almost wish that the movie had a similar situation in their group dynamic with the Simple Jack character, right? Maybe you cast somebody with Down syndrome. I don't know, which wouldn't happen back then the way it would happen that way today. But I almost wish there was that dynamic.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, to
like the Brandon Jackson and Robert Downey Jr. dynamic, but with the mental disability theme here.
You ever seen The Ringer?
The Ringer.
What's his name? Johnny Knoxville. Oh yeah, Riggs the Special Olympics.
Yeah,
that's kind of the way that should be handled, right?
Yeah.
Like there is this character doing this offensive impression, but there are tons of people with different mental challenges or whatever the proper nomenclature is around them to kind of call that out, right? And so I agree, and I think like that could have been something that would have maybe eased the Simple Jack situation a little more. But at the end of the day, to me, I don't care because I just the more I watch it, the less I like the movie. So.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's right. It's
and comedies are like my favorite genre to rewatch, and so saying that it kind of is a testament to the shortcomings of the film in my book.
Well, and it's hard to take this many funny people and make a below average comedy.
Which is Funny People? That movie is fucking horrible.
Yeah. But I don't know. It doesn't have as many comedians as this film has.
Oh no! Like you got Bill Hader, who I love.
Who he's pretty good in this.
He's really good, but they give him not much to do, and he knows what to do with it. And
right.
So I really like. Right. Basically, anytime Bill Hader's on screen, I'm usually pretty happy.
All right, so
we don't draw the shit out anymore.
Yeah. What are we watching next week?
What are we watching? We're gonna watch War of the Roses from 1989. Starring Kathleen Turner, Michael Douglas, directed and starring Danny DeVito. The poster reads, "Once in a lifetime, a motion picture that makes you feel like falling in love again. Makes you feel like falling in love all over again." This is not that movie. This is the opposite of a romance, which is going to lead us into February, which is the season of romance.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, because we're going to do some romantic comedies, but we can't have it be that simple. We got to make it really stupid. And so we are calling it, what do we decide? Adam, Eve, and Steve.
Adam, Eve, and Steve romantic comedies.
So they got to have an Adam or an Eve or Steve. This is so stupid, but we're doing it.
I thought it was a good idea.
I think it is a good idea, but when I say it out loud, I'm like, if I'm listening to a podcast and they start talking like that, I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to? Just know.
Well, the whole thing.
There's a reason to it. There's a method to the madness.
That's correct. But the what made it pop into my mind is that, there's religious folks out there that go, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
That's what I liked, because we were talking about Adam and Eve at first, and then you threw the Steve in there. I was like, now we're on to something. And yeah.
Well,
I still haven't picked my movies up, but it gives us some fun options and limitations. Like we can't just pick our favorite rom-com and move on. It forces us to maybe step outside the box a little bit.
I think we're gonna have, it's a five episode month, so we're gonna have a good time. Jeff, I just want to say that I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you. I forgive you and I forget.
Glad. I meant no offense.
Thank you.
Well,
if you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, you can find us at Movie Draft House. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button when it pops up so don't miss any future content here on the podcast. If you want to follow Jeff on Twitter and tell him, or no, you can just share links to clocks. And,
what?
Like there's cheap clocks. You set alarms.
I thought you said you've forgiven me.
I have forgiven me. I'm using it as a bit.
Oh, okay.
You can send them links to at Podcast by Jeff
All right. And if you want to get in touch with Mark, and just say, hey, Mark, how you doing? I hope things are going well with you. You can do that on Twitter at I Heard You Liked.
No, I don't take those. I don't receive well wishes. Only animosity here.
Well, if you have animosity, send it his way. I'll take kind words any day of the week.
Anyways, any last words?
Nope, none at all. See you next week.